Okay, 7.2 is super easy. Again, it's just looking at pictures of things. So last section we stretched stuff. Now we're going to look at if you're given two parallel lines and a transversal, how you can solve different angles in the problem. And parallel lines sometimes are marked with little arrows. And they'll look parallel where the transversal line cuts through them to make all these different angles in your picture. And the relationships are what we're looking most at. So we're either looking at whether angles are equal, which another word for that is congruent, or if they add up to make 90 degrees, complementary, or 180 degrees, which is supplementary. So if you notice, like if you have angles 1 and 4, those make up a line, so it's 180 degrees. So you know you can set up whatever angle 1 is plus angle 4 to equal 180. Same thing happens if you're going vertical also. You can set up like 7 and 8 to make 180. And we call those angles supplementary because they make that straight line when you connect the two angles. Some ones that it's a little trickier to see. Let me erase all these little extra marks here. So vertical angles are when you have two angles across from each other between the same two intersecting lines. So like here, if this is an intersecting line with this, that vertical angle is with that. So you would say, oh, angle 1 equals angle 3. That's a vertical angle, and it happens again at 2 and 4, 5 and 7, and 8 and 6. You can say each of those are equal to each other. Okay. The next one we look at is corresponding angles. Those are if you have two parallel lines. If you're looking at the same cut line, that transversal, the same spot on each one is equal. So angle 1 here would equal angle 5. And if you know that, let's say you know angle 1 was 120 degrees. So angle 5 also has to equal 120 degrees. You also know angle 1 equals angle 3. So all three of those equal the same thing. Okay, the next ones, erase this picture. Okay, next one's here. Oh, I didn't erase it all. Okay, that was corresponding, so same spot. The next one, alternate interior angles. The name kind of says it. Alternating means on opposite sides of the transversal. So one angle is going to be on this side, one angle is on that side. And they have to be interior. So here and here. And they have to be on different parallel lines. So angle 2 is on the top parallel line and angle 8 is on the bottom parallel line. Those are equal. So if you know angle 2 is 60 degrees, then you know angle 8 is 60 degrees also. And then, let's see, another one are alternating exterior angles. So, same thing, opposite sides of the transversal, but they're outside. And they have to be on opposite lines. So here, angle 1 would equal angle 7. You can kind of tell in the picture. But sometimes if you had one like this, it's a little harder to tell which one's equal. Okay, just another note, you can draw these any direction. It could be a transversal like that, or it might be like you might have a couple different lines, like maybe that. But this is still the parallel, and that's still one transversal. So it's just figuring out where the parallel lines are in your picture. Okay. We've got alternate interior, alternate exterior. Now we're going to talk about when the angles make 180, supplementary. So if they are interior angles, but they're on the same side, so like 2 and 5 are on the same side, those add to 180, which means you set up an equation. So like angle 2 plus angle 5 equals 180. You can do the same thing for 3 and 8 because those are inside. The opposite, same side exterior angles mean the exact same thing as this last one, but they're outside the parallel lines. So like 1 and 6, or you could do 4 and 7, but you set it up adding them to equal 180. And then if you know one of them, you just subtract it to get the angle that you're missing. Okay, so that's pretty much it for all the different types of angles you're going to see. So, let me just get rid of all this extra stuff. Let's try a practice problem. Okay, find every angle. You know this one. So the first one you can look at is, okay, I know corresponding angles are equal or congruent. So if this is on a parallel line with a transversal, the same spot, so here and here, are equal. So I know angle 3 also equals 148. I also know vertical angles are congruent. So 148 is vertical angles with 5. So I know angle 5 is the same measure. And from the angle 3, I also know angle 1 is the exact same as angle 3. I've already got 3 angles done, or 4. The other 4, let's take a look. We know that 2 angles on the same side of a line make 180. So I can say 148 degrees plus angle 7 equals 180 degrees. Also, sometimes you might see an M before that. It just means the measure or the amount of that angle. So don't get confused by that. For this one, you can subtract 148. So we get the measure of angle 7 as 32. So I can fill that in. I know that it's a vertical angle with angle 6, so that's also 32. See that there? I know that angle 6 is in the same spot as angle 2, so those are the same. And I know angle 2 and 4 are vertical angles. So I can fill all of that in just because I know some of those congruent relationships and those supplemental relationships. Okay. In your homework, you might have x's in there as well. That's okay. Just use everything you know to get the x value that is missing. And that's it.